What's up everyone, I'm Steph and this is the episode 7 of my path through IVF. You can check the other previous videos by clicking on the playlist at the corner over here, and you can jump to the part of the video that you are more interested in by clicking on the index in the information box below. In this episode I'm going to document all the stages of the new frozen embryo transfer that I'm going through. We decided to go for a frozen embryo transfer after what happened in the episode 6 when I experienced a failure, so the fresh embryo didn't hatch. After taking a short break, we started with the new FET protocol. This episode includes different moment of the FET protocol, if you will, so you are going to see me checking and talking in different places. So wish me good luck and enjoy it. I want to start just quickly summing up what's happening and what happened so far. So now I am traveling around Italy. My dog in the meantime has gone. Yesterday I started my first pill of Magic Provera. It's already killing me. So I'm gonna have it for 7 days. Then after a couple of days, I will be getting my period. And on the second day of the period, I will be starting again the cetrotide injections and some estrogen patches. This is always to help me build up the lining in my womb and to prepare everything for a frozen transfer. The feeling is, I'm having ups and downs because on one hand, I think that this must work. On the other hand, I am not so confident about this because I know how a failure feels like. I am, traveling in between those two strong feelings, and I need to live this roller coaster and to take it as it is. The fact that I'm away for holidays and I've been traveling a lot can help me get a little distracted by all these thoughts. In the meantime, I spent the last month dedicating everything that I was doing to myself, meaning also doing proper, legit workout the way I like. Now that we are traveling in Italy, everywhere we go, I managed to snag some workouts that pleased me, which is good. Since I'm having those up and downs, the fact that I can hide and comfort myself in something that I really like, I think is a good way to keep my morale high. And I'm also working at the same time because I work remotely, so I am trying to keep my routine as close as a normal day, just to keep everything as it is. Giuliano! And this is it for now. So I've been taking this Provera, which is killing me because the side effects are massive. And I'll see you next time if my dog won't interrupt me again. Ciao! So the first about 10 days of therapy with the estradiol patches and the week of cetrotide went quite well, in the sense that I didn't have massive side effects. The weight didn't go down, which is good. Last time, overgoing the stimulations and egg retrievals and all the shenanigans, I dropped 1 kilo, which wasn't great. We went to have the scan that you do to make sure that everything was okay, and then figure out when to schedule the frozen transfer. And apparently everything was going okay. My lining went up from 1.5 millimeters to 7.2 millimeters, which was great. The day after, they called me from the clinic and they told me that the frozen embryo transfer will be 1 week after the the scan, so the transfer is scheduled for next Thursday. On Saturday, I'm going to start with the infamous progesterone pessaries twice per day. Now we are looking forward to next Thursday to transfer Frosty in. Let's see how it goes. At the moment, I'm feeling very well, and I am putting myself in peace with the fact that everything hopefully is going to change. Nutrition-wise, I'm still keeping my protein very high and filling the rest with carbs and fats, and I'll see how it goes. We had the transfer yesterday. It was February the 7th. I trained in the morning, then I had 2 liters of water 90 minutes before the procedure, and everything went out very smoothly. I was way more relaxed this time because I knew what I was about to deal with. I felt much tired this time, and it was weird, so I thought that probably it was caused also by the caffeine withdrawal. Last time, because of the stimulations, I needed to scale down gradually my caffeine intake. This time I decided not to gradually scale down my caffeine intake, so I went from a full caffeine normal intake to only 2 double espressos in the morning, and probably that killed me. But I am adjusting now pretty well. I am making sure to have plenty of sleep, and actually last night it was the first night that I slept properly in like 1 week. During this past week, since when I started with the progesterone, my resting BPM spiked from 46 BPM to 59, and I think it's also because I wasn't sleeping well. This is Frosty. They took a photo again of Frosty. It's here, it's this white thingy, and all this big chunk of stuff that's around Frosty, it's the linen. I was concerned about my linen not getting thick enough. It seems like it's thicker, so fingers crossed. This time I also promised to myself that I won't exercise at all. This time also to stay more relaxed and in peace and have more peace of mind for myself, I decided not to do any cardio exercise, not to go to the gym, and try not to lift anything. For keeping myself focused on that, I created a challenge on Instagram stories with a hashtag rest challenge. I hope it helps me keep myself on track with that, because for me it's so easy to indulge into any sort of activity that is considered a little bit more than gentle exercise. Apart from Frosty and the implantation, I think it's a good thing for me overall to take a break from exercise and workouts. The last time that I took more than 10 days of rest, it was in May 2017. However, this time I have a very good motivation to keep myself on this track, and let's see how it goes. The 2 weeks wait are done. Actually, yesterday the waiting was over. I got the pregnancy test results. Not gonna lie, those last 2 weeks haven't been easy. Definitely it was better than the first time when I was waiting for doing this test and I was alone because my husband was out for work, and I started bleeding and having major cramps and things like that. This time I knew what I was going through, and I got Franz with me so we could work on my rest challenge together, and while doing my daily walks we could talk about everything that was going on. The words that I used the most during those 2 weeks was if Frosty hatches. The waiting has been also lighter, or less heavy to cope with, also because I could share this with my family, with my mother, my father and my sister. The last time I shared this only with my sister, and knowing that there were my parents, especially my mother, really made the difference. So actually our 2-week wait was 11 days because we transferred a 5 days blastocyst, so it resulted in only 11 days waiting. And at 4:44 in the morning of the 11th day, I woke up and I did one test, a test that the clinic gave it to me. And because I wanted to stay on the safe side, I tried also another test, a stick one. I put the two tests working together, and the stick test results came out very quickly, and I had to wait a little bit more for the clinic's pregnancy test, and it took so long. I mean, I had to wait maybe 1 or 2 minutes more, but it seemed like an hour. These are the results. So it's a double line, so we've got a Frosty in the house. And since I couldn't believe that, I did another test, just to say that I am not hallucinating. Today I did another test, and surprise, surprise, it's a double line. Frosty hatched themselves, and I am like officially pregnant. I thought that I would be more thrilled, but given what happened with the first transfer, I was like, okay, these are pregnancy tests. They say that I have HCG hormones flowing in my blood, but we still don't know if there's a heartbeat. Frosty won't have a proper heart before weeks 6 and 8. So this is just week 4, so we need to wait a little bit. In the meantime, I've already scheduled a viability scan at the clinic. They're gonna make sure that there's an embryo in the sac, because sometimes the sac might be empty, so you have the pregnancy hormone levels being very high, but actually there's no life, if you will. I am cautiously excited. Franz and I, before celebrating, we are going to wait for this viability scan. If we can confirm a pregnancy from the viability scan, I can book also a proper scan with the midwife. The only pregnancy symptom that I've got is a breast enlargement. This t-shirt now, it's so tight. I mean, it's big for me, it's a big breast for me. On the other hand, I dropped another kilo, and I've been eating normally, so I'm not feeling nauseous. I am not having anything that's affecting my appetite or the way I eat. I think that there's some glycogen missing within my muscle fibers that is resulting in this weight loss. For now, we can do a happy dance, but we cannot celebrate 100%. I know it might be silly, but we don't want to suffer too much if this sack is empty. We've got some updates. I didn't have, and I'm not having any nasty side effects typical of the pregnancy, such as tiredness or nausea, anything like that. Exactly the day when Frosty was 6 weeks old, I had a worrisome episode of bleeding. I started bleeding a lot, so much that I managed to fill a panty liner very soon. So Franz and I decided to go to the emergency care, and they kept me there for around 3 hours. They didn't have a sonographer to check me out. So they sent me home, it was a Saturday, and booked me a scan for the following Monday. So I spent 2 days feeling worried, and I thought I lost Frosty. My mother, though, kept saying that as long as my breast was hurting and was full, it would be okay. On the Monday, in the morning, we went to have the scan and we managed to see Frosty. They were there, measuring 1 centimeter point 3, and we also managed to see their heart. From the scan, it was like a sort of flashing little thingy inside that little bean. I mean, Frosty was smaller than a bean, but it looked like bean shaped. That was so relieving to see that their heart was beating. When I came back home, I had another major bleeding with also clots, and that freaked me out. Probably it was caused by the probe used for the scan, because I had an internal scan again. Then everything settled down again. I called the fertility clinic, I called the sonning ward, and they told me that everything is okay as long as I stopped bleeding. Less than a week after this episode, which is a couple of days ago, we went to the fertility clinic to have what they call the viability scan. If the viability scan is okay, I'm like a normal, regular pregnant lady. We were very glad to see that in less than 10 days, Frosty grew so much. So here it is. This is our Frosty. We have other 3 or 4 of these. We can see more details of Frosty. We saw Frosty's heart flashing again, and since they are so well placed in my uterus, the sonographer managed also to make us hear the heartbeat. It was only for a couple of seconds, but it was so weird because at that moment we were like, okay, this is getting real. The sonographer told us that normally you can hear the heartbeat between week 10 and week 12, but since Frosty looks very strong, she was able to do that. Frosty measures 1.6 millimeters and you can't see anything from outside. My belly is still flat. I still got my six-pack and I only look a little bit bloated, but you really need to have a good eye and know me before this. We are still not out of the wood though, because anything can happen. The sonographer went through and double checked everything around my womb to check for potential hematomes or something that could bleed and put Frosty in jeopardy, and she told us that everything looks more than awesome. She assured me there's no clue at all that can lead us to think about a threatened miscarriage. It was like such a big relief, and the staff at the clinic and the sonographer gave me the green light to go back to training. My routines are going to be less intense, so I'm going to start gradually. I will stay far from anything high intensity. I'm really happy to embrace this, and I can't wait to start this new chapter of my fitness path. And yeah, I'm so happy also to start this new chapter of my life. This would be the end of this IVF vlog, because when they discharged me from the fertility clinic, there's nothing else related with the IVF. So I am just a regular pregnant lady. So now the NHS is taking over. Next week I have an antenatal appointment with the NHS midwife. I have a blog now where I'm going to continue updating everyone about how Frosty is doing. There's gonna be a link back to this series about the IVF. If you want to keep up with how Frosty is doing, just head to frostygrows.blog. There's the link in the information box below, and I'll see you next time. Any questions you have, just drop me a message or a comment below. Bye!